Now, in these serious times with COVID-19 and conversations about racial justice, a local school is making it a little easier to spread some laughter. Blind Tiger Comedy is offering free online classes in improv and in sketch comedy for people who identify as Black, Indigenous, or a person of color, or BIPOC, and they're new to the school. Now, Tom Hill is a co-director of Blind Tiger Comedy. Tom, hello there.
Hi, Gloria.
Now, we had originally booked Ronald Dario, one of your diversity program coordinators for this. We weren't able to catch up with him, so thank you so much for stepping in today.
My pleasure, Gloria. Thanks for having me.
So why would you say it's important to offer these free comedy classes to BIPOC people?
Well, I guess it's sort of related to why I'm stepping in. I think, just for starters, the fact that I am a white, cis, hetero man running a comedy school with the co-director of the comedy school. And so many comedy spaces are run or directly benefit white folks, and especially white men, especially white straight men. So the reason we do initiatives like this is to welcome more and more voices into comedy. And we think that's a really urgent question. So as a starting point, to welcome more voices, more perspectives, more experiences into this wonderful thing that is comedy.
Well, it's just interesting, I think, as well, the whole concept of a comedy school. I mean, some people say you're funny or you're not funny. So what specifically can people expect to learn from your classes?
Gloria, I think a lot of it is bringing out what people find funny themselves. And we really try and teach that it's not about trying to do comedy the particular way that I do it or that other teachers do it or other comedians, but rather we're trying to go like, okay, what really makes you laugh? And what are some skills that encourage you or enable you to bring out that comedy on stage and share that with audiences? So yeah, I think it's like less about, I'm not really of the belief, no, some people are funny, some people aren't. It's more like, let's get the funniest you out on stage. Or sometimes we say, come find your funny.
Come find your funny, okay. Well, it can be tough these days. I mean, a lot of people are more sensitive these days when it comes to talking about issues of race or representation. So I guess in that context, how do you encourage, creativity and respect and comedy? Have a little fun in the class too.
Yeah, a big one for that is just creating a safe environment. We're trying to do everything we can to create the safest environment we can. And so we have a few things that way. We have a pretty extensive anti-harassment policy that every student has to sign before they come to class. And before every class, we talk through that anti-harassment policy. It's the first thing we do. And then from there, if something comes up in class, it is our expectation. Of course, I can't personally guarantee that every time, but certainly most of the time our teachers will address stuff as it comes up. And just really foregrounding that kind of conversation is okay. If something comes up in an improv scene, which it might, we can all expect that we'll have a reasonable conversation about that, talk about what happened, maybe decompress a little bit how we're feeling about it. And again, it's not like it happens all that much, but having that space be okay for those conversations is a great starting point for people to feel more confident having the conversations we need to have as we do comedy.
Okay, so what kinds of conversations are coming up then? I mean, can you give us an example of how comedians can learn to be better by talking about these issues of race and representation?
Can I give you an example? Well, I think in terms of how comedians can get better, that's just doing the learning, us all as individual humans learning more about our privilege and the ways that in my case, the various ways my privileges have enabled me to have the experiences that I have. So that's maybe not an improv class question, but I think in terms of how we handle it in a class, if something were to come up in a scene, it's on me as the teacher to go, okay, so this happened, this is what I saw, what else did everyone else experience, why or why not is this an issue, and what can we expect to do better differently or do better next time? Those are usually very productive conversations and lead to, maybe it can feel a bit tense at the time because we're all getting better at having those conversations. But certainly we've seen so much, as we've made this more and more a priority in our school, we've seen more and more joy and a range of voices feeling comfortable to continue taking classes, which is to everyone's benefit.
Yeah, I should say, so to everyone's benefit, just taking it along that theme, then how would you say having more diverse comedians in our mix can make the local scene better?
Oof. Well, I'd love to find out all the ways it could. In some ways, the ways that, because we still do have such in Canada and North America, a very white comedy scene in general. But what do we get to enjoy? What are we lucky to have when we have different voices in comedy? Like lots of good things for comedy. We get more variety, which is good for comedy. We get a range of different voices, which is good for comedy. We stop telling the same kinds of stories over and over again, the ones that we're used to in our white homes, and the very classic sort of tired improv scenes that we've seen doing, whatever it might be. Christmas morning scenes, for example. No knock on Christmas, but we've seen 1,000 Christmas morning scenes. What other kinds of scenes are there? And that's not for me to say, but I think we will stand to benefit greatly as comedy audiences to find out what kinds of new scenes we'll get to enjoy if we make it safe for those voices to share them with us. Well,
since your comedy school has put out this call then, or this offer for free classes for BIPOC folk, what's the reaction been like?
It's been cool. We've had a number of folks. I think we've got well over 30 now that are signed up, and we just announced a bunch more classes, actually featuring teachers from all over the world. And those classes also have space for BIPOC folks coming to us. But I mean, generally it's been awesome. But I think when we really see the benefit or the great response is, down the road. And we've seen that a little bit with last year. We had a welcome last summer for folks who identify as women, trans, and or femme. And our school's benefited so much from that. We've got a terrific increase in those voices in our school. And the result is, again, like a more fun place to do comedy, a healthier place to do comedy. It's great.
Tom, thanks for giving us something to smile about today. Nice to talk to you.
Very nice to talk to you, Gloria. Take care.